My name's Marquay, Dr. Marquay, a scientist interested in the supernatural. The unnatural, if you like. I came to Hill House to find the key to another world. Assisting me in this exploration of the unknown was Eleanor, Nell, who could look back into the past, and Theo, something of a witch, who could see into the future. This is Luke, who didn't believe in anything, until evil, patient and waiting, made him change his mind.
How many of us take seriously the things we cannot or do not want to understand, simply because we are afraid?
Eleanor, you're Paul! Did you hear me calling?
Oh, this house. You have to watch it every minute.
The Haunting was produced and directed by Robert Wise, brilliant producer of West Side Story. The stars consist of a cross-section of top talent in the world of entertainment. Julie Harris, Claire Bloom, Richard Johnson, Russ Tamblyn.
What does it take to convince you that the dead do not always rest in peace? That some houses, like Hill House, are born bad?
Welcome to another episode of Combat Radio, and with us today is the star of that very film, directed by Robert Wise, a legend who's shared the screen opposite Steve McQueen, Frank Sinatra, Laurence Olivier, Charlton Heston, among many other greats. Peter Lawford, probably a good drinking buddy. A living legend, if you will, and one of my all-time favorite actors, Sir Richard Johnson. How are you, sir?
You've knighted me already.
I have knighted you. I took that liberty. I know they should have done it in the UK, but I'm going to do it for them.
You were born bad.
Not the first time we Yanks have had to save the UK on a social issue. Also in the show, sitting in with me is the great Doug Jones, who from Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy and some other classics, and Camden Toy, the Man of a Thousand Faces. So it's actually, to kick off Halloween, three great performers, and somebody I actually respect quite a bit. You, Mr. Johnson, had heard that trailer with me when we opened the show. What do you think when you hear that from the It's on YouTube. It's actually still labeled today as some of the scariest,
chilling,
one of the scariest films of all time.
Yeah,
it is. Yes. Well, I mean, people tell me all the time that they like it because its effects are in the head rather than on the screen. And that too many films nowadays, supposedly scary films, show you the whole thing. So, well, you've seen it, so what's to be frightened of?
Yeah, that's the amazing thing, is it just leaves it all up to your imagination. It's what The Haunting does, yeah.
When you got the script for that, we've talked before. You've graced this show with your presence once before, which was fantastic. I remember you threw some members of Parliament out of your house and sent them up to the pub so you could talk to us on the phone. But when we talked before, you said you got that script, and was it defined that way in the script? Did Robert have it laid out that way on the page?
Oh, yeah. It was a very specific, very well-written script. There wasn't any... there weren't. We didn't have to make it up on the day, kind of thing, which I've often had to do, but not in that one. The effects, the wonderful thing of the door. You remember the door?
Yeah,
the door breathing, right? It was kind of
out. That was I shouldn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you.
No, tell us. This is a history lesson in a way. Tell us. They copied it at Disney on Disney's Haunted Mansion.
It was a prop guy behind who was pushing some sort of pads on the door. The door was made of rubber. Simple stuff, but very effective, wasn't it?
It is.
Chilling.
Well, your performance in it is so effective, I think. And you've told me recently that the house they used as a location is now a hotel.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, I visited it this year, actually, because there was some sort of haunting, a visit of a group of haunting fans all from America, I must say.
Of which you have plenty.
And they came to the hotel to see what it was like, and stayed in the haunted rooms and all. Supposedly haunted rooms. Well,
yeah, because the interiors were all studio, right? The interiors,
yes, interiors.
They're all studio, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was actually, I don't know how I did it. Really, looking back on it, young and foolish, I suppose. That I was actually working in the theatre at the same time as making the film.
Wow. So you'd run from one to the other?
I would, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
It was at the MGM studios in those days, which were in a place called Boreham Wood, which was about 20 miles out of the centre of London. And I lived right in the very centre of London at that time, and so I would get the car down there at 6 in the morning, and we'd finish work at 5. I'd get the car back to the theatre and do 3 hours. Huge leading part.
What was the show you were doing?
It was a show called The Devils, actually.
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing show. That's exhausting physically, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know how I conceived that I could get away with it.
Oh my goodness! Wow, yeah, because Ken Russell made a film out of that.
He did.
That's a famous play. Before, of course, he made a film out of it.
It was indeed. Yes.
Yeah. Much more interesting play than film. I think.
I thought so.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually,
yes.
I did think so.
Yes.
Especially as it was not very good actor played my part in it.
Yeah. And which actually he's actually admitted in interviews when people ask him, actually, I'm one of the worst actors. So thank goodness he recognized that.
Oh, bless his heart.
Did you have a chance to work with Robert Wise prior to the film? I mean, you knew his reputation as the editor of Citizen Kane, and he had done The Body Snatcher for Val Lewton, who's a filmmaker I really admire, a producer.
No, I took his credentials absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd just done an amazing career and an extraordinary different sorts of genre of film that he had done.
It is amazing.
The last one he did, I think, before The Haunting was West Side Story, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
To go from West Side Story to The Haunting.
Two extremely different films. They would not let a filmmaker probably make that leap today. Not without serious credentials to go from a musical to a horror movie.
I think that's probably so.
They pigeonhole you. And I want to stop you right there, if I may. The other day when you called me on my cell phone, and now the audience can hear for themselves, I thought God was calling me.
No, his voice, the best voice
Beautiful.
ever.
Beautiful.
You have got the best voice.
No, it's true. I want to hear you tell me scary stories around a campfire. That's what I want. Yes, I do.
I could do that.
We can't wait.
I know.
Seriously, we can't wait.
Marshmallows and
that.
Oh,
yeah.
And Richard Johnson.
Absolutely.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.